Today we shall start from scope of communication in management. Now we know that communication is inevitable element in the organization. Why? Because an organization is dealing with human and we need to have an universal language to communicate so that what we intend to reach out to the others, we are able to reach out in a proper medium. So in this, let us try to understand one after the other what is the scope of communication. Planning and policy framework. Planning is done by the board of management. It is the management who will frame the plans, the policies, the procedures, for enabling the smooth conduct of the organization. And when they have to plan, they need to have the correct information and the relevant information to frame the policies and the rules and regulations. This is one of the scope. The next is smooth and effective working of an organization. For the smooth conduct of the organization, communication is very essential, and that is where I said communication is universal, it is two-way, and it is unavoidable. So if the organization activities has to undertaken without any kind of a flaws or interruption, a proper communication is required, and that is the reason every organization ought to have a common language to communicate for the smooth conduct of the organization activities. Then we have facilitate coordination. What do we mean by coordination? We know that today's scenario, every business organization has got its global presence. It is expanded in all ways, and every organization has got different departments. A proper coordination within the departments of an organization, a proper coordination within the companies, a proper coordination within the other companies is essential. Now what happens if there is no coordination? Just imagine it is a sales executive who will have the first-hand information of their sales from their customers. Now this information, if they don't bring it back in a correct manner and pass it on to the marketing department in turn can mislead the other departments as well. This can lead to excess production, or it can lead to shortage of production. This will hamper the sales as well in the long run, and it is going to cause the organization as well. So a proper coordination among all the departments can happen if there is a good communication. Achieving goals. Yes, every business enterprise is set up or established for a cause. It has its own objectives, and not just the business enterprise, the people who go there to work also have their own personal goals or personal objectives. We come to work to the organizations to meet our objectives through attaining the goals of the organization, and that can align well only when there is proper communication. Cooperation and good working environment. Having good communication can have a good working atmosphere in the organization. This can make the employees feel safe and secure to work with, because major time of ours is spent in the organization. So a proper conducive atmosphere has to be created in the organization through a proper communication. This is very important. Decision making. Yes, every activity would involve certain amount of decision making. Should it be done or should it not be done? Should we procure it? Should we not procure it? Should we make it or should we buy it? Should we employ the person? Should we not employ the person? So every role has got its own decision making criteria. Now, how do we take this decision? A right decision can be taken when there is a right communication in the organization, and this is also one of the way through which will enable the managers to have a right control over the other subordinates. Control doesn't mean the dictatorship. It all depends on the manager's style, the leadership quality or the styles, but then how you want to correct the mistakes that emerges in the organization, it all depends on corrective measures or the control mechanism that the authorities take, and for all this they require a communication. Effective leadership. Who is an effective leader? We have Charlie Chaplin, also an effective leader, an inspiring, influential leader. We have Hitler, Saddam Hussein, also a leader. They are all the autocratic style. Imagine you have a boss who has understood that the mistake has happened from your end. He is concerned about it. He calls you, to his chamber, and he tells you in a very diplomatic way, and he is guiding you to correct such mistakes. This is scenario 1. On the scenario 2, you have your boss who has identified your mistake, who will start yelling and shouting amidst the other peer groups of yours. Now, which is a better one? The case 1 or case 2? Case 1, isn't it? That's because here the manager is concerned. He is not trying to make the employee embarrassed. Whereas in the second case, the manager is trying to insult by yelling and shouting at the employee or the subordinate. So, having a right communication will help you to lead your team in a right manner. Any disturbances you create in the mindset of the employees, the employee will certainly not be able to work efficiently and productively. So, right communication is required for an effective leadership. Motivation and morale. Gone are the days where we had people to come, stand next to us, pat on our shoulder and say, yes, well done, you have to do something better. Today is a scenario where we have to pull up our socks and motivate ourselves. But if you have a right leader who is very concerned and diplomatic and with a parentalistic approach, he can create enthusiasm atmosphere in the organization. He can enhance the morale of the employees and help the employees to motivate themselves. And all this can happen with a proper communication. Training and development. Yes, certainly technology is advancing. With the advancement in the technology, the skill set of the employees have to be updated. And how can this happen? This can happen only when the organization is orienting their employees towards rigorous training and development. And for this training and development, communication is very essential to impart proper message to the employees. It increases the managerial efficiency. Having a good communication will enhance the efficiency level of the employees in the organization. As I was telling you before, a good manager who has a parentalistic approach, who knows not to insult the subordinates, who knows how to diplomatically handle and correct the mistakes, that in turn will motivate the morale of the employee to such an extent that the employee will be willing to not just correct but also enhance his efficiency level as well. So, a right communication can bring in all this in the organization. Increases productivity and reduces the cost. How can you increase the productivity having a better communication? I said an organization comprises of production department, store department, R&D cell, recruitment and training department, it could have marketing, advertisement, sales department, so on and so forth. Now, when all these departments are coordinated well, when messages are clearly getting transmitted from one department to other department in a required manner, the resources are utilized in a judicious manner, the employees are used in a productive way, there is increased efficiency level amidst every employee in the organization, everybody are motivated to attain the organizational goal. Now, when all this enhances the efficiency, increases the productivity, this in turn will help the organization to reduce the cost of operation at every stage. And when the cost of operations are reduced, such an organization will be able to sell their products or services in the market at a lesser rate. This is one of the unique selling proposition. Today, every organizations are, aiming at producing and selling something. But the challenge lies for them how they can communicate effectively to the customers. So communication effectively can happen through one of the strategy, that is by reducing the cost. So this is the importance of communication in the organization as well. Public relation could be improved. An organization is not isolated from the society, it is amidst the society, isn't it? So the organizations cannot ignore the pulse of the society. So what it has to do? Organization comprises of internal stakeholders, they comprise of external stakeholders as well. Now, when the efficiency level of the internal environment is increased, they should also look into the enhancing the relationship with the external stakeholders. Once it is enhanced, once it is built, a good rapport is built by the organization and the external stakeholders, it automatically increases the image, the goodwill of the organization in the society. This can add on benefit to the organization in the long run. So these are some of the scope of communication in management. Let us just relook. Framing policies and framework and planning the activities of the organizations can be done with a effective communication. Smooth and conducive working environment can be created with a good communication in the organization. Having a good communication can facilitate a proper coordination among all the departments, which can help the organization to achieve its goal as well as enable the employees to achieve their goals as well. Then having a good communication can create a good cooperation and a good working environment, and this will help the organization to take the decisions well in right time, which will lead to effective control and effective leadership. This all will enable the organization or the managers to motivate and enhance the morale of the employees as well through proper communication, and giving the right training and development will not only increase the managerial efficiency, but also it will increase the productivity of the organization, which in turn will reduce the cost of operations, and all these elements will increase the public relationship as well. So these are the elements of scope of communication in management. Moving on next, communication structure in organization. So what kind of a communication an organization can have depends on its structure. So it is a pattern that is implemented in the organization to maintain the flow of information, wherein we have chain structure. What do we understand by chain structure? The word chain, linear. When an organization have a linear structure of organization, it could be vertical, wherein the information can flow from upward to downward, or it could move from downward to upward as well. Such a system of communication we call it as chain structure of organization structure. Then we have Y structure. Now Y structure, what we notice there? We have two managers and an employee is receiving the instructions from two managers. Take an example of VTU. This online courses is delivered from Vishisha Technological University in collaboration with U18 platform partner. Now we, as an employee of this university, we receive the information, instructions from both the sides. So listening to the instructions, we exercise our activities here. This is Y structure of organization structure of communication that we find. And the example to quote, banks. Banks has a collaboration with the fintech solution, which in turn will train their employees. The employees in turn will give a better service to the customers to enhance the customer satisfaction. So these are the examples for Y structure we have. So which we notice in the functional organization. Then we have something to do with the wheel structure. Now what do we mean by wheel? The subordinates are in a wheel form and manager is at the center like a hub of a wheel. The manager has all the information and each subordinate can get the information from the manager. So this is a wheel structure of organization where we notice that this pattern of communication exists where they have a centralized organization system. Okay. Then we have circle structure. Circle structure, the employees have the freedom to communicate with their immediate peer groups. So it could be in a horizontal form also, where there is a horizontal form structure of organization. Then at last we have free flow structure. Free flow, every employee has the freedom to communicate with anybody in the organization, and this kind of a communication we can notice where there is a decentralized communication system, decentralized structure of organization. So these are the communication structure which we notice. We have chain structure, we have Y structure, we have wheel structure, and then we have circular structure and free flow structure. Then the next type of structure of organization, we have the chain structure. When I said it's vertical, again it could be downward or it could be upward. Now moving on to the next type of organization structure, we have the horizontal structure of organization where this is applicable. Let me just make you understand. One is where you have a geographical organization structure and the other one is a functional organization structure. Take an example of Domino's. Domino's is not just located in one area, isn't it? In a city, it is located in different areas. Now what happens? There could be some areas where they have peak sales. There could be some areas where they don't have the sales at all. But managers are located in different areas in a city. Now they interact themselves through various modes of communication. So they interact, and what happens? Wherever there is shortage of sales, they can pass on whatever they have in excess to the areas where they peak sales and enable such area to enhance the customer satisfaction by right delivery on right time. So this kind of a communication can happen with this geographical organization. Then we have something known as functional organization. As I told you all earlier, every organization will have different departments in the organization. So right communication should happen and right coordination should happen amidst all the department so that the work does not hamper, so that the sales happen on time, so that the company is able to enhance the productivity, increase the efficiency and reduce the cost of operation, and this in turn can enable the firm to make use of the resources which are in crunch in a judicious manner and reduce its selling price when it is sold in the market. So, having a proper communication in the organization depends on the kind of the organization structure. With the horizontal, we have geographical organization, we have functional organization as well. So, thank you. With this, we will look forward in the next session then.